Picture this: you're at the grocery store, and you see two people. One is 75, moving with energy, chatting with the cashier, carrying her own bags with a smile. The other is only 65, struggling with a walker, looking tired and defeated. What makes the difference? Is it luck? Good genes? The answer might surprise you. It's not what you think. Today, I'm going to share 6 simple habits that can change everything about how you age. These aren't complicated medical treatments or expensive supplements. They're gentle, proven ways to help you stay strong, sharp, and independent, no matter what your age says on paper. If you're over 50, or if you love someone who is, please stay with me. What I'm about to share could add years to your life and life to your years. The unexpected culprit? Those delicious, fresh tomatoes combined with her blood pressure medication. Here's what Eleanor didn't know: many blood pressure medications, especially ACE inhibitors and potassium-sparing diuretics, cause your body to hold on to potassium instead of eliminating it through your kidneys. Tomatoes, especially when eaten in large quantities, are very high in potassium. When you combine high potassium foods with medications that prevent potassium elimination, levels can build up to dangerous extremes. Too much potassium can cause irregular heart rhythms, muscle weakness, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. This doesn't mean tomatoes are bad for everyone. But if you're on certain heart medications and you love tomatoes, you need to be smart about it. Cooked tomatoes are actually safer than raw ones because cooking reduces the potassium content while increasing beneficial compounds like lycopene. Eleanor now enjoys her tomatoes cooked in sauces and soups, and she discusses her garden harvest with her doctor each year. Her potassium levels are back to normal, and she feels strong again. The lesson? Even the most natural, homegrown foods can become problematic when they interact with the medications keeping you alive. Always discuss your diet with your doctor, especially if you eat large amounts of any particular food. If you're learning something new about how foods can interact with your medications, please take a moment to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I share this vital information because too many seniors are suffering from problems that could be easily prevented with the right knowledge. Let's make sure this information reaches everyone who needs it. Vegetable 4, raw cruciferous vegetables. Now, I want to tell you about James, a 69-year-old man who was determined to take control of his health after a mild heart attack. His daughter, a nutritionist, encouraged him to eat more raw vegetables, especially the superfoods like raw broccoli, raw cauliflower, and raw Brussels sprouts. James threw himself into this new diet with enthusiasm. Every day, he'd prepare a large salad with raw broccoli florets, cauliflower pieces, and shredded Brussels sprouts. He felt proud of his discipline and dedication, but within a few weeks, James started experiencing uncomfortable symptoms. Severe bloating, gas that left him embarrassed to be around others, and a feeling of fullness that made it hard to breathe deeply. Most concerning, he noticed his chest felt tight after meals, and he sometimes felt short of breath when lying down at night. James's wife was scared. "Are you having heart problems again?" she asked. It wasn't his heart that was the problem, it was what was pressing against it. Raw cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, contain complex fibers and compounds called FODMAPs that can cause significant gas and bloating, especially in older digestive systems that move more slowly than they used to. When your abdomen becomes distended with gas, it literally pushes upward against your diaphragm, the muscle that helps you breathe. This creates pressure on your lungs and heart, making it harder to breathe deeply and forcing your heart to work harder in a cramped space. For someone like James, who already had a compromised heart, this physical pressure was more than uncomfortable. It was dangerous. Here's the solution James discovered: cooking these vegetables breaks down the tough fibers and reduces the compounds that cause gas. When James switched to lightly steamed broccoli and roasted Brussels sprouts, his symptoms disappeared almost immediately. "I didn't realize food could physically press against my heart," James told me. "But now I can breathe easily after every meal." The key insight here is that raw isn't always better, especially after 60. Your digestive system changes as you age, and foods that were easy to handle in your younger years might now cause problems that affect not just your stomach, but your heart and lungs too. Vegetable 5, excess leafy greens with blood THINERS. Meet Dorothy, an 82-year-old widow who lived alone and was determined to stay healthy and independent. After reading about the benefits of leafy greens, she decided to add kale, arugula, and Swiss chard to her daily routine. Every morning, she'd make herself a large salad with mixed greens. Feeling proud of her healthy choice, Dorothy was also taking warfarin for atrial fibrillation, a common heart rhythm disorder in seniors. For months, everything seemed fine. But during a routine blood test, her doctor discovered something alarming: her blood was clotting too quickly, despite her medication. "Dorothy," her doctor said, "your INR levels show that your blood thinner isn't working properly. Have you changed anything in your diet?" That's when they discovered the connection. Dorothy had dramatically increased her intake of vitamin K-rich leafy greens without realizing how it would affect her medication. Here's the critical point: it's not that leafy greens are bad for you. The problem is inconsistency and excess. If you eat the same moderate amount of leafy greens every day, your doctor can adjust your medication accordingly. But if you suddenly start eating massive salads every day, or if you eat large amounts some days and none others, you create chaos in your body's clotting system. Dorothy's story could have ended tragically. Thick blood from ineffective blood thinners can lead to clots in the heart, brain, or lungs. But fortunately, her doctor caught it in time. The solution was simple but precise. Dorothy now eats a consistent, moderate amount of leafy greens every day, about 1 cup of cooked greens, or 2 cups of raw greens. Her doctor adjusted her warfarin dose to account for this consistent intake, and her blood levels stabilized. I learned that with blood thinners, consistency is everything, Dorothy explained. I can still eat healthy foods, but I have to be smart about it. If you're on blood thinners, here's what you need to know: don't avoid vitamin K foods entirely, that can be just as dangerous as eating too much. Instead, eat consistent amounts and work with your doctor to monitor your levels regularly. Keep a simple food diary noting your green vegetable intake so you can spot patterns if your blood levels change. Vegetable 6, high potassium vegetables with kidney. Swayze want you to meet Frank, a 77-year-old retired postal worker who was dealing with the reality that many seniors face: his kidneys weren't working as well as they used to. His doctor had mentioned that his kidney function was declining, not unusual for his age, but something to monitor. Frank was determined to eat healthier. So he started loading up on what he thought were the best vegetables: baked potatoes with the skin, avocados, bananas, orange juice, and plenty of leafy greens. He was eating what many would consider a perfect, nutrient-dense diet, but after a few months of this routine, Frank started feeling tired and weak. His legs felt heavy, and he noticed some muscle twitching. During a routine blood test, his doctor discovered that Frank's potassium levels were dangerously high. Frank, his doctor explained, your kidneys aren't able to filter out excess potassium like they used to. When you eat too many high potassium foods, it builds up in your blood and can affect your heart rhythm. This is a crucial issue for many seniors. As we age, our kidney function naturally declines. By age 75, most people have lost about 30 to 40% of their kidney function compared to their younger years. When your kidneys can't efficiently remove potassium from your blood, eating too many high potassium foods becomes dangerous. High potassium levels can cause irregular heartbeats, muscle weakness, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. The scary part is that you might not feel seriously ill until levels become critically high. Frank had to learn which vegetables were highest in potassium and limit them: potatoes, especially with skins, sweet potatoes, spinach, beets, avocados, and tomatoes. Instead, he focused on lower potassium vegetables like green beans, zucchini, carrots, and cauliflower. I didn't realize my kidneys were connected to my heart like that, Frank said. But now I understand that everything in my body is connected, especially at my age. The important message here is that if you have any kidney problems, or if you're over 75 even without diagnosed kidney issues, you should have your potassium levels checked regularly and discuss your vegetable intake with your doctor. Foods that were perfectly healthy for you at 50 might be too much for your kidneys to handle at 75. I hope these stories are opening your eyes to how differently your body processes foods after 60. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, maybe a parent or friend who's navigating medications and diet changes, please share this video and encourage them to subscribe. Knowledge like this can truly be life-saving. Vegetable 7, grapefruit and medication. Interactions. Let me tell you about Helen, a 71-year-old woman who thought she was making the healthiest breakfast choice possible. Every morning, she'd have half a fresh grapefruit along with her medications, including her heart medication and cholesterol-lowering statin. Helen had been doing this routine for months when she started noticing muscle pain and weakness. At first, she attributed it to getting older, maybe arthritis. But the pain got worse, and she began feeling confused and dizzy at times. When Helen finally went to her doctor, blood tests revealed that her statin medication levels were dangerously high in her system. Even though she was taking the normal prescribed dose, her body was acting as if she was taking much more. The culprit was that healthy grapefruit she ate every morning. A grapefruit contains compounds that interfere with enzymes in your liver that break down medications. When these enzymes are blocked, medications build up in your system instead of being processed and eliminated normally. This can turn a safe dose of medication into a toxic one. This interaction is especially dangerous with heart medications, cholesterol drugs, blood pressure medications, and many others commonly prescribed to seniors. The effect can last for hours after eating grapefruit, and it doesn't matter if it's fresh grapefruit, grapefruit juice, or even grapefruit-flavored foods. Helen had to stop eating grapefruit entirely while on her medications. Within a few weeks, her muscle pain disappeared and her confusion cleared up. Her medication levels returned to normal, safe ranges. I never imagined that something as healthy as grapefruit could make my medications dangerous, Helen said. I thought natural was always better. If you take medications, especially heart medications, blood pressure drugs, or cholesterol medications, you need to avoid grapefruit entirely. This isn't about moderation, it's about elimination. The interaction is too unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Always read your medication labels and ask your pharmacist about food interactions. Many seniors are taking multiple medications, and grapefruit can interact with more than 85 different drugs. Vegetable 8. Raw sprouts and infection risk. Now I want to share a story that highlights a risk many people don't think about. Meet Patricia, a health-conscious 73-year-old who loved adding fresh alfalfa sprouts and bean sprouts to her salads. They seemed like the perfect healthy addition, fresh, crunchy, and full of nutrients. Patricia had been eating sprouts regularly for months, when she suddenly became severely ill with nausea, fever, and diarrhea. At first, she thought it was just a stomach bug, but when her symptoms worsened and she became dehydrated, her family took her to the emergency room. Tests revealed that Patricia had a serious bacterial infection, E. coli poisoning that required hospitalization and 4 antibiotics. The source was traced back to contaminated sprouts she had eaten. Here's what Patricia didn't know: raw sprouts are grown in warm, moist conditions that are perfect for bacterial growth. Even with proper washing, sprouts can harbor dangerous bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, and listeria. While a younger person might fight off these infections with just digestive upset, seniors face much more serious risks. After 60, your immune system is naturally weaker and less able to fight off foodborne bacteria. What might cause a mild stomach ache in a 30-year-old can lead to hospitalization, dehydration, and even life-threatening complications in a senior. Patricia spent 5 days in the hospital and took weeks to fully recover. I had no idea that something so healthy-looking could be so dangerous, she said. If you enjoy the taste and crunch of sprouts, you don't have to give them up entirely. But they must be cooked, lightly steamed, sautéed, or added to stir-fries. At the end of cooking, this kills harmful bacteria while preserving much of the nutrition and texture. The lesson here is that raw doesn't always mean safe, especially for seniors. Your body's ability to fight off foodborne illness decreases with age, so foods that seemed safe when you were younger might now pose real risks. Vegetable 9. Excessive fiber without gradual increase. Finally, let me tell you about George, a 79-year-old man who decided to dramatically improve his diet after a health scare. His doctor had mentioned that he needed more fiber, so George went all in. He started eating large amounts of beans, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and high-fiber vegetables every day. Within a week, George was miserable. Severe bloating, painful gas, and digestive discomfort made it hard for him to sleep or even leave the house. Worse, the pressure in his abdomen was making it difficult to breathe deeply, and he felt like his heart was racing after meals. George was experiencing what happens when you add too much fiber too quickly to an aging digestive system. After 60, your digestion naturally slows down. Adding large amounts of fiber suddenly can cause severe gas, bloating, and discomfort that affects not just your stomach, but your breathing and heart function. The fiber itself wasn't the problem, it was the amount and the speed of change. George's body needed time to adjust. Here's what George learned: when increasing fiber intake after 60, you must do it gradually. Start with small amounts and increase slowly over several weeks. Drink plenty of water with high-fiber foods. And consider that cooked vegetables are often easier to digest than raw ones. George slowly adjusted his approach, adding fiber-rich foods gradually and focusing on well-cooked vegetables. His digestive system adapted, and he was able to enjoy the benefits of higher fiber without the uncomfortable side effects. I learned that even good changes need to happen slowly at my age, George reflected. My body needed time to catch up with my good intentions. What to eat instead now? After hearing all these stories, you might be wondering, what can I eat? It seems like everything has risks. The truth is, there are many vegetables that are both nutritious and gentle on aging bodies. Let me share what I recommend for seniors who want to protect their hearts. Green beans are wonderful for seniors. They're low in sodium, easy to digest when cooked, and provide fiber and nutrients without the high potassium or vitamin K levels that can interfere with medications. Zucchini and summer squash are mild, hydrating, and versatile. They're low in potassium and sodium, making them safe for most heart conditions and medication regimens. Carrots, when cooked, are sweet, comforting, and rich in beta-carotene for heart health. They're also easy to digest and unlikely to interact With medications, cauliflower, when cooked, provides fiber and nutrients while being gentle on the digestive system. Unlike raw cauliflower, cooked cauliflower doesn't typically cause the gas and bloating that can pressure the heart. Bell peppers are rich in vitamin C and antioxidants but low in the compounds that cause problems for seniors on medications. Cooked tomatoes are actually better than raw ones for seniors. Cooking reduces potassium content while increasing beneficial lycopene, and they're less likely to cause digestive upset. The key principles for seniors are: cooked vegetables are often safer and easier to digest than raw ones. Consistency is crucial if you're on blood thinners. Moderation is key. Even healthy foods can be harmful in excess. Always discuss major dietary changes with your doctor. Consider your medications when choosing foods. Listen to your body. If something causes discomfort, it may not be right for you at this stage of life. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all vegetables from your diet. It's to choose wisely, eat mindfully, and understand how your body has changed since your younger years. As I close this video, I want you to know something important. Reaching your 60s, 70s, or 80s is an achievement. Your body has carried you through decades of life, love, challenges, and triumphs. Your heart has beaten billions of times without asking for anything in return, but now, your body is asking for something different. It's asking for wisdom, the wisdom to understand that what worked at 40 might not work at 70. The wisdom to know that medications and foods interact in ways you never had to consider before. The wisdom to choose gentle, consistent care over dramatic changes. This isn't about restriction or fear. It's about respect. Respect for the body that has given you so much, and smart choices that can give you many more good years ahead. I've shared these 9 vegetables and their potential risks not to scare you, but to empower you. Knowledge is power, and with the right knowledge, you can make choices that truly support your heart and your health. If you found value in this information, please share it with someone you love. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss information that could protect your health or the health of someone you care about. Your story isn't over. Your best days can still be ahead of you. But they start with the choices you make today, in your kitchen, at your table, and in partnership with your healthcare team. Take care of that precious heart of yours. It's been taking care of you all these years. Now it's your turn to return the favor. Thank you for watching, and remember, it's never too late to start making choices that honor the body you've been given. Your heart is counting on you.